Chapter 26, Tipping Point. I'm in geography, sitting next to Liam because Jake's in a different set, but I wouldn't want to sit next to him even if he was here. He sent me another 10 texts last night, asking me what was wrong. Why was I taking things so seriously? Because he thought it was just a bit of fun. But it wasn't fun. It was one of the worst days of my life. So, says Mr. Fields, pointing at a diagram on the board. This is longshore drift. This is... My mind zones out. He says something about the sea bashing the rocks on the coastline, breaking them into pebbles and depositing them somewhere else along the coast. But the only thing being eroded is my mind. I can't stop thinking about Grandad sitting at home on his own. I look out of the window as the traffic passes by. I wish Grandad would drive by right now in his pink car. I'd run through the gates after him and apologise properly for what I did. Why was I so stupid to go along with Jake's idea? How could I have ever thought Grandad was a spy? He was just taking Grandma flowers. And what makes it even worse was that I didn't even realise it was a year ago she died. How could I forget the day I lost the most important person in my life? I rest my head on my arm. Mr. Fields says something about a good example of longshore drift is a plane called Slapton Sands in Devon, and behind me I hear Sarah Fox say she went there on holiday. I stare at the board. Everything is getting jumbled up in my mind. Last week, all I was thinking about was chess, and the whiteboard was full of black and white squares, and now it's just blank. Last week, I could hear Grandad's voice in my head, and now all I hear is fuzz. I close my eyes and wish they would come back. I wish I was sitting at the table playing chess with the bread again. I never thought I'd wish that. It was sneaky that Mum and Dad planned for me to spend more time with Grandad. But I have to admit I was enjoying it, and I think he was too. He'd actually started to smile, and he went to town for the first time since Grandma died. I might be missing seeing the black and white squares, but I think I'm missing Grandad way more. I stare at the whiteboard until it goes blurry at the edges. I can't cry in school. I can't. Felix, I jump. I asked if you were listening. Mr. Fields is standing right in front of me. Yes, I say, trying to scramble back to the room. So what's the process called when the rocks are moved along the coastline? I shrug. Come on, Felix. No? I shake my head. Anyone else? Transportation, sir. Yes, Liam, transportation. Mr. Fields glances at me. Got that, Felix? I nod and look at my desk. I wish I could get transported out of here. My body is moving, but I don't know who's moving it as I walk down the corridor. My head is full of noise as the boys' and girls' shouts echo off the walls. But above them, I hear someone yelling my name. Felix, Felix. Rebecca taps me on the shoulder. Felix, what's wrong? I open my mouth, but all that comes out is air. I look up and down the corridor, anywhere but at Rebecca. I swallow hard. Felix, Rebecca rubs my arm. Tell me what's wrong. You were so quiet in class. I shake my head. I feel bad for not answering her, but I've got a lump in my throat. I've already lost Grandma. I don't want to lose Grandad too. I turn and walk away. Felix, just tell me what it is. Rebecca walks alongside me. You've been acting weird all morning, and Jake says you didn't wait for him to walk to school. Felix. I'm sorry, I say. I don't want to talk about it. It's just my Grandad. Oh God. Rebecca puts her hand up to her mouth. Is he dead? No, but he might as well be. He doesn't want to see me again. Why? I take a deep breath and tell Rebecca everything. How me and Jake followed Grandad through the park. How Jake told him he was a spy when all he was doing was putting flowers on Grandma's grave. And how now he won't talk to me anymore. I pause and wonder what Rebecca is thinking. That maybe she thinks I was silly to follow Jake's plan. And she's even mad with me. But she just smiles kindly and says she thinks it'll be okay because her mum and her nan didn't talk for 2 years, but they get on like best friends now. I tell her that I know she's only trying to help, but to me, 2 years without talking to my granddad feels like a really long time. I tell her it's not just that I'm missing Grandma, that I'm missing Mum, and I'm even missing chess. Then she smiles and I look at the ground until she says, Felix, it's okay to be upset. Sometimes you don't miss things until they are gone. But then it's too late, I say. No, it's not. I think it is. Look, Rebecca puts her hand on my arm. Why don't you come to chess club with me? You might not be talking to your granddad, but at least you can play chess. No, I sigh. I don't think so. Chess club isn't as bad as you think, Rebecca smiles. There's Richard, he's the club leader and is a bit of a twerp. But Chris, Tom and Leah are okay. We're all at different levels, but we still have good games. And Mr. Keats helps run it. You like him. Playing chess is the last thing I want to do, but I need to go somewhere to calm down. I start walking with her. Maybe the next best thing to being with Grandad is to play chess. We turn up at the end of the corridor and stop. Jake's running towards me with a huge grin on his face. Hey Felix, he shouts. Where were you this morning? And why aren't you replying to my texts? I'm not talking to you, I say. What? Because I said your granddad was a spy. It was just a bit of fun. But it wasn't, I say. Not for me, and definitely not for my granddad. Oh, says Jake. Somebody's stroppy. I stare at Jake. Feel my fist ball. My heart is jumping, even though I don't know what will happen next. We need to go, Felix. Rebecca tugs my arm like she senses my anger. Or they'll start without us. What? Where are you going? Jake asks. Chess club, says Rebecca. Jake laughs. Felix, are you serious? If it means getting away from you. What? Jake holds out his arm. Felix, I told you, the spy thing with your granddad was a joke. A joke? My anger snaps inside of me. I push Jake up against the wall. Whoa, Felix. He laughs like he thinks I'm messing around. I surrender. He holds his hands up in the air. Fight, fight, fight. A group of Year 8 boys have suddenly surrounded us. Ha, says Jake. We're not fighting, we're best. Punch him, knee him, fight, fight, fight. Ha, Jake laughs. Tell them, Felix, we're best friends. Where? I say. Fight, fight. Jake stops laughing. My head is so close to his. Our noses are nearly touching. Someone pushes me in the back. I fall forward. My head bashes into Jake's face. Fight, fight, fight. Jake puts his hand up to his nose. For a moment, I think he's going to punch me. I wrap my arm around his neck and we fall to the ground. Fight, fight. We're scrapping on the floor. My heart thuds as blurred faces look down on me. Fight, fight. Jake's by my side. I kick my legs, flail my arms. Get off me. I roll over. Everything is blurry and I'm moving in slow motion. Get off me. Fight, fight. I can't breathe. Okay, that's enough. A pair of brown shoes. Mr. Keats' voice. He grabs me by the arm and pulls me up. It was... Me and Jake stare at each other, trying to catch our breaths. Okay, Year 8s, get on your way. There's nothing to see here. Jake's nose is bleeding and his eyes are watering. I gulp for air. Mr. Keats puts his hand on my shoulder, the other hand on Jake. He looks at me, then looks at Jake. You two, what on earth's going on? You're friends. I know. That's me starting to cry.